Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you're doing really well. Today I wanted to share a name with you all, and this is something that I truly needed in this moment in time. And the one thing I feel is that the more we connect to the names of Allah, the more these names have a certain power over us. It's like they awaken us to our true self and remind us of who He is for us, right? And through a post on Instagram, I was guided to the name Ya Mujeeb this morning. And it was, I think, my second or third scroll that I was going through as I started my day, and I thought, oh my God, this is him reaching out to me to connect to this name. And I wonder if this is exactly the name that I would need. I didn't have that perception in that moment, but when I sat down to connect to the name, I realized, oh my God, this was exactly what I needed. Last night, I had a moment with my, in my sajda where I felt this immense breakdown, and I was thinking, is it mine? Is it somebody's energy I've absorbed, or is it a collective energy that I'm feeling? Like there was this massive feeling of ego death, like everything that I have known was collapsing into this hole of darkness, and a part of me felt very awakened, but a part of me felt so broken, so hurt, so vulnerable in front of Allah. And I at one point I didn't even know what dua I was asking for. All I remember was that I was having this massive release of whatever it was that was within me that needed to sort of just be released and expressed and felt, fully. And I feel like in that moment, I was like, I don't even know what to ask you for, because I feel so blessed. I'm so grateful. Everything is going well. But there is this pain that I still have in me that needs a space to sort of come out through me. And it was just happening. And I prayed for forgiveness, I prayed for connection, I prayed for all the people I know who send me messages to pray for. And I had this like constant praying happening. And I was thinking, why am I asking all of this in a state of feeling so crashed, or feeling so broken and so deeply in dark stillness, right? And I'll read through the text that I've got, and this is a session that I actually have available on my Patreon for Ya Mujeeb, and it has a beautiful grid. So if you feel like you want to jump into it and connect to it at a deeper level through art, you're most welcome to go to my Patreon, check it out. You can become a member for it for 7 days, completely free of charge, to see if the energy sits with you. So anyway, Ya Mujeeb is there for you to heal your being, to remind you of who He is when He calls Himself, or when He chooses for you to call Him Ya Mujeeb, inshallah ta'ala. So I'll start reading the text and explaining to you what it means, like expand it a bit if needed. But Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ya Mujeeb, the one who responds to every call. It's so beautiful. Ya Mujeeb, Al Mujeeb is the one who answers all our prayers. The response to prayer matches the genuineness of asking the Qur'an. Of asking. The response to prayer matches the genuineness of the asking. Now, what this means is that when you ask Allah, it has to have the same vibration of that what He sees as genuine, not what you think is genuine. Not sitting there going, oh yeah, Allah, yeah, I want this, I'm being very genuine with myself. No. What does Allah want you to be in a state of? What state does He think of you as being genuine? When are you truly genuine? When you are super authentic with yourself. You're not praying, you're not asking because it's going to make somebody happy. You're not praying so that other people see you and like be impressed by your pious action of doing the namaz and whatever, charity. And you become really genuine when you're truly authentic, when you are raw, real yourself. When you are asking, you're not asking to Allah for some somebody else, but it's actually genuinely you asking Allah in the way that He wants you to ask Him, not in the way that you feel, oh, I'll just do my wuzu and sit down for namaz and that's it. That's how I'm going to ask. No, 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 no. The response to your prayer, He only will respond to your prayer when you are in a state of being truly authentic to that what you are asking, right? Excuse me. And as I go on, I will keep explaining this genuineness and being authentic and all that. In Quran, Allah says, call upon me and I will respond to you. Now when you think of the word, when He says call upon me, meaning call upon Allah. Now what is Allah? Who is Allah? Allah is that who He openly explains to us through all His names. Allah is not just Allah, right? There is so much to Allah that we have to call upon Him knowing that He is all the 99 names that He calls Himself. So we have to go in with the faith that He is the one who is all watching. He is the one who is all hearing. He's the one who is all giving. He is the one who is all forgiving. He's the one who's all loving. Like all the attributes of Allah, you are turning to the 99 attributes and Allah itself, the name, to answer and respond to you. Now can you think about it, the one who calls himself by the 99 names, how can he not respond to you? For when you genuinely know the names of Allah and you connect to them and you know that He's the one who is saying that I am the one giving you everything, get to know me through my names, and when you are actually trying your best to get to know Him and to remember Him daily, how do you even have the doubt that He's not going to respond? Because through His names, through the journey of the names that you do connecting to Him, He repeatedly says who He is. And when you know who He is, then you know that He's going to respond. Like there is no doubt, that is no space for any kind of doubt, right? And then yet we don't know when and how and where His answer will arrive from. When I say to Allah, Mia, give me this thing, right, that I really, really want, He says, I'm going to respond to you because you have asked me in the way that is genuine, that is authentic, that is real, right? But I don't really know when it's going to come, how it's going to come, through whom it's going to come, and where His answer will arrive from. And that in itself is a mercy, a protection from the trap of our limited expectations. So for example, I'm expecting a certain amount of money coming to me, right, through a certain job. Now, suddenly that job is no more happening and I'm fired, right? What happened is my expectations were connected to that limited understanding of my brain that I'm working, doing my 9 to 5 job and everything's going to come from there. That was my expectation, that the money that I want for my side hustle is going to come through this job. And now this job suddenly just vanishes. So I go into despair thinking, oh my God, now where am I going to get the money from? And that's why Allah wants you to know that the money or the wish that you are, the dua that you are asking for is not going to come from that what you are aware of, right? It's going to come from where He wants it to arrive to you. It could be through a friend, it could be through, I don't know, lottery. No, I hope not a lottery, but it could be through a project that just lands in your lap or something. Alhamdulillah, it's 11:11 on my clock, which is such a beautiful reminder of alignment, that we all need to have that faith in Allah, that even if that job that I was in, that I was depending on, that my limited expectations were from, that this relationship will give me all the love that I want and this job will give me all the money that I've been expecting, Allah removes those as a favor to us so that we are able to not depend on them, right? Not on that external thing, but have that faith in our being that you don't know where it's going to come from. You don't know how it's going to come from, but it is going to come because he promises that he will respond. You just have to be receptive to that responding of his. You have to be like, okay, money didn't come from this, that's fine, it's going to come from somewhere, because I know Allah's heard me. You have to have that faith, that certainty and trust in him, right? When he says, call upon me, I will answer. This is like, I want us to kind of have this in our heads, like before we sleep, when we wake up in the morning, call upon me. I will answer. He couldn't be more clear in letting you know that he loves you. Why would he say, like, don't you just say to somebody who calls you as like a friend of love because you spend time with them and you really enjoy, oh, I really want to talk to you, or, please do give me a call again. I had such a good time with you. Allah is saying, call upon me, I will answer. This is him saying, I want to hear from you because I love you so much. So don't ever forget that I am never there. Like, my phone is always going to be like ready to receive your call. It's never going to give you like a busy call, or I will never be busy with anything but you. So call upon me. Don't wait. Don't think you have to become a certain way. Don't think you have to make me happy. Don't think of all that. I'm your best friend. Just pick the phone up and give me a call, right? That's his way of showing us his love. He's letting us know about himself, who he is. He is the one who's promised us that he will respond. He's promising us that he will listen when we call. He remembers you when you remember him. But it's so important. He remembers you when you remember him. So what do you have to do? He remembers you. That's done. He's saying it. I will answer, right? But what is your responsibility in that relationship to your Allah? He's showing you love without a condition. But what does he want from you? He invites you to love him back. Not because he gave you the job, he gave you the money, he's given you the love, or he's given you anything. No. He invites you to love him back unconditionally. He takes away something, you still love him. You're hurt, you still love him. You are going through a difficult time, you still love him. Like you're going through darkness, you still love him. Not your love does not based on your emotions. The other day I was thinking, when we have Eid, and just before Eid we lose a loved one, or they pass away or something like that, we kind of say, we're not going to do Eid this year because we lost our mother or father or sister or whatever. You see, Eid is a gift from Allah, and we're not celebrating it because of our emotions. We're celebrating Eid because that's what he wants us to, right? So we have to do things for our Allah, not based on how we feel in ourselves. Our loss, our gains are not dependent, should not be the basis of me loving Allah, right? I have to celebrate Eid for my Allah, not because somebody's died or not died, I'm hurt or not hurt, I'm whatever and not whatever. That doesn't matter. We still have to love Allah regardless of what we feel inside ourselves, because you're automatically, when you're saying, oh, I'm not feeling up to it, so I'm not going to celebrate Eid, what that says is like, I'm a slave to my emotions, not a slave to you, my Allah. I'm going to go with what I feel, and that's something, that's not love for Allah, right? Allah will think about it. Oh, if you are good, then he will give you food, or if you're good, if you remember him, then he's going to give you air to breathe, or a heartbeat to beat. Does he do that? No. So then why do we have that? Why are we not loving Allah beyond our emotions, beyond our being, beyond our understanding, beyond what we know? We have to love him because we have to love him. That is part of us. That is who we are. We love Allah, right? Now, could he not have stayed silent? What I mean by that is, like, why did he need to tell you that he's going to respond to you when you call? Why does he need you to know that he's waiting for you to return back to him? Why does he need you to know that he's going to keep his promise? Like, why does he need you to remember him? Like, what benefit? Like, he could just not say anything to us about him, right? He wouldn't. Maybe imagine if he would not have told us, Ya Mujeeb, the one who replies and responds to all prayers. Like, he didn't tell us that. How would that make us feel? Right? Nobody to look up to, nobody to ask, nobody to hold us when we are going through the highs and the lows of our life. It would leave us wondering. It would leave us like aimless. We have no, what do you call it? We have no hope. We're unsure who to ask, how to ask, where to turn, who to turn, right? But then he actually, the reason he gives us you and me, Ya Mujeeb, is so that we are able to turn to him, to remember him as the one who responds. So he's letting you know about who he is, so that you remember that it is he who you need to turn to ask. Now, imagine if just for a moment that you didn't know Allah through Ya Mujeeb or whatever. There was no him letting you know that he existed, that you had no idea of his love, no sense of his presence. Like, how lost would your soul truly feel? What would anchor you on the days that you need to be held by somebody when there's nobody around you? You see, without Ya Mujeeb, it's like working on an artwork, a mandala with no dot in the center. Can you create a mandala, in artwork? Because that's what I teach how to do. How will you create a mandala without the dot in the center? If he didn't give you Ya Mujeeb, if he didn't give you Allah, if he didn't tell you I'm waiting for your call, if he didn't give you that I love you the most, who are you going to turn to? Where are you going to go look? Like, there's no core, there's nothing to return to, no voice, no answer, no call, right? Your own existence becomes so unsteady, scattered and fragile. You don't know where to turn and who you would turn to, right? So we have to remember he does answer. Even when we feel like, oh my God, is he listening? Why am I in so much pain? Even in that pain, he is with you. And he openly shows his love by telling you so, by letting you know he is Ya Mujeeb. He is the one who will respond to all your wishes. You just have to ask, to call upon him. Now, he asks you to call, right? He says, you remember me and I will remember you. Simple, right? So you have to make the intention of getting to know your Allah. You have to make that commitment that I want to give my time to my Allah, to get to know him better, to be in ibadat, to find out why I'm here, what my sole purpose is, and all that sort of stuff. You have to show up for him. He doesn't have to show up for you, because if you look around you, everything and anything is a creation of his. So everything in the creation anyway tells you about him, right? Reminds you of him. So he's done his job. It is up to you now. How are you going to show up for your Allah? Now, I wrote this whole thing down, and let me see if I can actually explain this to you. A small act, I always say this, that the names of Allah are not something that we understand. These are things that the name of Allah needs to be absorbed in our heart to the core, so that every time in our daily life we want something, we are connected to this name, and it helps us and guides us and holds us and reminds us of Allah, right? So what does it mean to pick up the phone? Like, when you say, I'm going to pick up the phone and call Allah, right? It means you intend to call him, because there's nobody else around in the room that can help you. There's nobody else who will listen to you. There's nobody else who is always going to be like available for you. So it is you who has to pick the phone up and call him, right? You have to make the space in your body, your heart, and your mind to say, okay, I'm going to reach for Allah, because no one else in the world will give me that what my Allah can, right? So first step is your intention. When you make the intention to pick the phone up and call him, now I want you to symbolically think about this whole journey of picking up the phone, right? To dial his number means to remember him. Means like, when you were young, you remembered all the old, like now we have smartphones and stuff like that, but we still remember certain birthdays or, phone numbers. I don't remember anybody's phone number other than mine, but I'm just saying that we do still have a memory where we remember him, right? So dial his number. That's the second thing. You pick the phone up and then you dial the number. That picking up the phone is you saying, I am intending to return to Allah with my body. When you are dialing the number to call him, that is to turn inwards and connect to your heart and say, you know what, I am giving up everything outside of me. I'm going to turn to this phone call and I'm going to make an intention and go beep, 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 beep in my heart, through the space in my heart, to dial into my body, to dial into my heart, sit with myself, communicate and connect to my heart through that space in you that already knows the way. Like you already know the number to Allah. What's the number to Allah? The number is in your heart. When you sit with your heart, communicate with your heart, connect to your heart, automatically you're dialing the number to Allah, right? Because you're communicating with him, right? And when I say know that he will answer, so the first thing is intention. Your body, your hand, you picks up the phone, right? You make the intention. Second thing is you dial his number, meaning you remember him from your heart. Like you don't need the number of Allah on the wall to call him. You already know it inside yourself. When you sit in silence, he will guide you what number it is, and that number is your heart. Right? The heartbeat, imagine like the heartbeat is your number to Allah. Like, then what does he say? He says, know that he will answer. Know that he will answer. So when you are calling, when you are dialing, when you're sitting in your heart, know, have the trust, have the faith that he's going to pick the phone up from the other side with all his love, right? And I've tried to break it down, and let's see if I can explain to you further. To pick up the phone, you need your hands, right? So what happens? Your body turned towards him in worship. It says, I'm not going to call anybody else. I'm going to actually make an effort to call who? My Allah, right? That act, that hand movement to pick up the phone was actually an act of worship that says, I'm taking the first step towards you. You know how he says, you take the first step and I will take the rest of the steps towards you, right? You just have to take that one step. So when you pick the phone up, you use your hands. That movement of your hand means that you turned towards him in worship, in your ibadat. Symbolically, if you think about it, when you go and do your namaz, you are moving the whole body towards saying, okay, I've done the food, I've taken care of the kids, I've done my whatever needed to be done. I'm turning towards my Allah because my whole body is going to go and stand in front of him in the act of worship to reconnect, recharge, and sort of be in his presence, because that's what charges my soul. Food is what charges your body. Right? But the time that you spend in ibadat with your Allah, your body turns to worship, right? Then you dial the number. Your mind must remember. You see when you do all the prayers, like you do Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, and you do Ya Salamu, sorry, not Ya Salamu, I don't know where that came from, but when you do the sajda and you pray, my God, my mind's too completely black. Oh my God, I don't know what happened. Anyway, so this is dial the number and your mind must remember. Of course, my mind is like clogged here, but please forgive me, Allah Mia, please forgive me, whoever's listening. But what I'm trying to get to is that it is in our heart to reconnect to Allah's knowing. So when we stand in sajda and we recite our Subhana Rabbiyal Azim and Subhana Rabbiyal Ala, oh my God, it came back, my memory came back. And what I'm thinking is that this is Allah saying that we will forget, we are human, so be kind and gentle towards yourself, that there could be moments where you forget me, but know that in your heart you will always, when you turn to it and when you calm down and you're not heavy or you're not hard on yourself, why am I not remembering Allah's names? But something which I do, like every day I suddenly blanked out. It is okay So be gentle with yourself, and your heart will remind you of Subhana Rabbiyal Ala and Subhana Rabbiyal Azim and all the Alhamdulillah and Attayatu and all that, because it's actually inside your heart. Already He's planted. That number that you need to call Him is already in your heart. You just have to connect to your heart's knowing, to believe He will answer. Now, the third act was to believe that He's going to answer you. This is your soul. This is your soul, which must have the trust that, you know what? How can He not answer? I'm part of Him. My soul will say to Allah, you're the only one who is my source of love, right? The soul feels awakened in the presence of His Allah, because Allah created our soul. So the soul has this trust, deep trust, that how is He not going to respond to me? Of course He's going to respond to me, right? Through this act, what we learn is that the body is in worship. When our body is in worship, when our mind is in remembrance, when our heart is in gratitude, that is what makes our prayer genuine. Remember how He said in the beginning that your, hang on, let me just read it here. The response to your prayer matches the genuineness of your asking. So He teaches you how to make your dua genuine in the way that He will definitely respond to you, right? And the way you know that He will respond to you is when your body turns to Him, when you're not attached to other people, when you worship for the sake of Allah, when your mind is in remembrance, when you understand that your heart is connected to Him and the number that you need to dial is in the silence communication that you have with your Allah, with acts of service that remind you and bring you peace in your heart, and you feel gratitude towards, like, so you're not just like, your mind remembers Allah, so you do the things, you workshops or you listen to talks. In those moments, your heart gets awakened. And so thank you so much for this video, because, it helped me come closer to you. And your heart is in gratitude. When your body is in worship and your mind is in remembrance and your heart is in gratitude, that is when you make the prayer, which is truly genuine to your Allah, and it will never ever not be answered. A prayer is only real when it's free from ego, not made from the past pain or future fear, but offered from the present moment in stillness and in sincerity. What happens is that when we make a dua, we have this in the back of our mind that in the past I've prayed for something and it didn't come through, and then we say, oh my God, in the future I don't know if it will happen or not. We have to let go of those two things completely. What happened in the past is not right now. What will happen in the future is not in this present moment, right? So you have to be really present in the stillness and in sincerity, and not let your ego fog your prayer, that, oh, last time he didn't do it, oh, I don't know if he's going to do it or not, because I'm not worthy of and deserving of whatever. That's where the ego, the shaitan, puts doubts and makes your pain bigger. And so that you sit in pain and you're like, yeah, he didn't make it better last time, so why should I do it this time? And I don't know if he's going to even listen to me, because I'm not even worth it. So the future fear comes in and all that. So Allah is saying to us, the prayer is only real when it's free from your ego, meaning your attachments and your identity of what happened earlier. It has to be in this very moment. The prayer has to be still. The prayer has to be sincere, the present. It has to be present from this very moment. You know what? I'm asking Allah. I'm turning to Ya Mujeeb. I'm picking up the phone. I'm making my body turn to Allah. And I know in my heart, in my soul, that when I turn to Allah, there is no way He will not. Right? Your past doesn't control your future. Anxiety doesn't come in. He will respond to me. Right? So you ask yourself, when does your prayer truly become genuine? And this is so important. When are you in the present moment? When are you in that stillness of sincerity? Like, it happens when your body is in full submission, when you've turned away from the world's distraction, when your mind is aware that He alone is your Lord, when your heart is full of thanks even before the blessing is arrived, right? It happens when you are left with nothing but Him. So when everything falls away, who do we turn to? When you reach a point so raw, so empty, away from your ego. You fall to the ground in your sujood. The tears pour without end. Remember I said, like yesterday, I had that moment of like I was just crying. It was so raw and I felt so broken, empty, shattered. What is happening? And in my sujood, I was able to pray for all the people and all myself and my daughter and my life and everything. And it was not so that somebody had pressurized me or somebody had said, go Hamna, do your prayer. It was something that came from within us that Allah blesses us with in moments where maybe somebody who I needed to pray for needed me to be really genuine, not what Allah will do for them, right? Not how Allah will show up for them, but the fact that I was able to be raw and ask him without my ego, like you haven't done that before, or I don't know if you listen to me or not. When I removed all this chaos and the whole being, my body, my soul, my heart was truly broken, when my ego was completely shattered, when my past didn't matter and future didn't happen, when I became fully present, when silence echoes louder than noise, when you don't even want to be seen in those moments, you're so vulnerable, you're crying like a baby, and you don't want nobody to see you because the only one who truly sees you is him. You understand in the darkest of nights when the clouds of your ego finally break, and this is like called the, what is it called? The night, the soul, the awakening of the soul is called the something night of the soul. Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, in the darkest of the nights when the ego death, what is it called? Ego death. Dark night of the soul. When your ego finally breaks, your soul aches to be seen, heard, and loved. And only he can hold that pain. But if Allah is your Rabb, the watchful, then why does he let us reach such darkness? You might ask yourself, why the pain, the betrayal, the abandonment? He says he is Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim, the most loving and the most merciful. Then why so much pain? Where was he when I was doing all the things or feeling betrayed by other people, right? What happens is, through pain, he purifies us because he makes us climb up this mountain of sorrow and your descent into the grave of stillness. Again, I'm going to make like a Procreate video to show you what I'm talking about here, but think of it that the pain helps you climb up this mountain, that massive mountain of sorrow, right? And at the same time, simultaneously, what he also does is he takes you deep into the grave of stillness, into the ground. So the higher you go, the closer you are to your Allah, the place like right up at the top of the mountain, who is with you? Him and him alone. Who is down below in the depth of your soul? Only and only him. When you rise above the dunya, away from the noise and attachments and distractions of this dunya, really high up, close into the mountains, he pulls you deep into your soul. So he makes your prayer genuine by removing the clutter from around you as he takes you into the grave's stillness. And he makes you see the whole view, 360 degrees. When you climb up the top of the mountain, you're able to see the whole of dunya around you. Clearly, you start seeing who's your friend, who's betrayed you, who and whatever, right? When you are able to see clearly at the top of the pain of your mountain, right? And when you are able to sit in the grave stillness of your body, in your soul, in your darkness. So he takes you right up. You have the vision of all that there is. And then he pulls you really deep in to show you where he resides in you, in your heart. And it's such a beautiful way of him taking you up and him taking you deep, right? High up in the sky and deep into your being. Because before you could have asked, right? You must know what you ask for. What is it that you are asking? You go up this mountain and you are able to see everything, right? And then you go deep into the stillness of your grave and you understand, oh my God, I had to be connected to my body. My body is actually giving me signals and signs so that I can protect myself from this dunya. So he cleans your vision And he connects you to what? To your ruh, to him, to the pain that your soul feels in the grave, right? And when you are in this space, like tip of the mountain and deep into your soul, who do you think of? Your Allah. When you think of your Allah, all alone, not surrounded by noise, but darkness and stillness and height, and nobody is able to be there with you to hold you, in those moments, your prayer truly becomes genuine. And then you might ask yourself, like, okay, I want this, right? But when you ask for that, what you want, you also have to understand that what is it that you no longer want. You no longer want to have a veil in front of your eyes, so you're unable to see the people who will abandon you, who will betray you, right? You climb high and fall deep, chasing people, trusting the wrong hands until silence becomes unbearable. And that's where he waits. In the heights of your pain, in the depths of your darkness, in the mountain and the grave, who is with you? Your Allah. Right? And in between them, so don't just think he's up there and he's down below. You'll find Allah when you're right at the top or when you're right at the bottom. No. Every step you take on the mountain, every moment you lose yourself and you go into the darkness of the grave, he's still holding you. It's not like he's left you. He never ever leaves you. He brings you to a place where no one and nothing remains. So on the journey, you'll meet all these people who might betray you or who will be good to you, or you'll lose yourself and you'll disconnect from your emotions. You'll suffocate your heart. Blah blah blah. Right? So as he's pulling you upwards on the journey, he's also deep, like taking you deep into your heart, in your soul, right? Now think about this. He expands you when you think about the mountain and everything that you are able to see, and then he contracts you and takes you right into your soul, into the darkness under the ground, right? Into the grave. So he expands and he relaxes, like brings you home, like contracts you, makes you tight in your being. What is happening there? It's the breath. He's reminding you how valuable your breath is. When you're high up on the mountain, when you're down below in the ground, both times he's got you. And in between them, he's still holding you. When people are not nice to you, when you are being hurt, when you feel you are unheard, valued, or whatever, just not valued, all of that, in all of that, he's still with you. You are actually so absorbed by the person who has hurt you that you forget that Allah was actually with you. He brings you to a place where there is no one and nothing remains, so that you may call upon him genuinely, sincerely, without the mask, without the facade, without the what you thought you were. He completely makes you vulnerable, naked, because that's when your dua becomes pure from your heart, right? Pain helps you to climb up that mountain and make that dua in silence, only and only to your Allah, where nobody else and nothing remains. When I say where no one is there and nothing remains, I'm again talking about the height, the top of the mountain, where he exposes all of the dunya in front of you and the colors of betrayal, of love, of sadness, of whatever it is that he wants to show you, the 360 view. And then nothing remains when he plants you deep into your own soul, reconnects you to the darkness, to the stillness under the ground in the grave. There's nothing else but you. Both are in isolation, right? And Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam also used to go into the cave, right? In isolation. When he used to go away from the world, deep into the cave, it was that in those moments where nothing remained. There was nobody else but him and his Allah. And that is where you make the dua. It becomes really, really genuine in the way that Allah loves it. And when you do, your call rises from a place so pure, so stripped of all distraction, that it is finally fully real. You see, Ya Mujeeb wants you to remember, to return, to know that when you cry out, he always responds. But because you had doubts in your heart, you were distracted by the people, you were attached to the outcomes, you're not activating Ya Mujeeb, you're just kind of having a transactional moment. The moment you call on Ya Mujeeb to remember and to return, to cry out in pain that there is nobody else who can help me the way you can, my Allah. right? And it is that when he responds, when you have fully turned your body, your mind, your soul, your being to him, when you have nobody else that you can depend on and nobody else to remind you how much he loves you, in those moments he will always respond. Whether you are high up on the mountain of pain or buried in the stillness of despair, he's always there. And when you are able to stand on that mountain, clear-eyed, stripped of illusions, you see the world for what it is, a distraction, a test, and a veil. He wants you to see through it, to come back home to him, to your heart, to his light. He wants your body in submission, your mind in remembrance, your heart overflowing with love. And so he gives you the gift of pain, not to harm you, but to purify you, to awaken you, to draw you into the stillness where his voice becomes louder than the world. You say love makes the lover possessive, right? But his love wants freedom for your soul. So he, in his love, brings you back home, for he waits for you to come home, to lay down your distractions, your attachments, your fears, and choose him and him alone. On the darkest night, the moon shines the brightest. If the moon is you, then the light you emit is Ya Mujeeb. It is his love that illuminates you, that pushes away the darkness. The moon doesn't shine on its own, it reflects. It absorbs the light and then it reflects. So, when his love falls upon you, you shine. Without his light, we are nothing, just shadows, just darkness, just matter. He shines through us, for he is the light. He is the answer. He is the source. That what lies within us, in our soul, when we return back to our heart, to our soul, to our stillness, we connect to the one who calls himself Ya Mujeeb. In that stillness, in that pain, raw, without a mask, when we turn to Allah, he responds to us because he wants you to come to him alone. He doesn't want you to bring a crowd around you or the voices and sound of the society and what you've been taught and told about him. He wants you to come to him all alone, on yourself, on your own, so that you are able to hear him clearly without other people interfering. You see, he loves you and he's very possessive about you. So when he's calling you towards you through Ya Mujeeb, he wants you to let go of everything, every relation, every career goal, everything, and turn to him, for he will give you everything that he knows is best for you. He invites you to come back to him with your whole being, body, mind, and soul. He takes you through experiences that seem painful, only to bring you deeper into truth, so that you may return again and again to the genuineness of your call. Not just call upon your Allah and he will respond. Be genuine, be sincere, be raw, be real. Cry out to him. Open your heart and show him and tell him your pain, for he is all listening. You see, when he listens, he responds in ways that are going to blow your mind away. It might not be from places that you thought it will come. His answers, his love comes from all directions, from 360 degrees, right? Everything around you speaks about him when your heart is awakened. And when you really truly connect to your Allah, when you do in a way that he wants you to, he responds, because you know what? He's always listening, he's always seeing, he's always got you, because he is Ya Mujeeb. I really hope that when this video reaches you, it truly breaks away all the chains in your heart or anything that's holding you back from making that dua that you want. Ya Mujeeb. When I say this to people to do the tasbih, don't just do the tasbih when you are not connected consciously to the name of what you are calling upon. When you know who you are calling, then automatically the response that will come through that calling will be incredibly powerful. It will not just be on surface level, it will shift you from the inside out. I'm sending you lots of love, light, and peace, everyone. If you want to connect to me, I'd rather say when you want to connect to me, all my social media links are down below. I am running my free Friday sessions where I help people create, connect, not help, assist people connect to art and channel into their creativity and come closer to the most beautiful, incredible Allah that we have, and celebrate Him together through art, through ourselves, through meditation, and becoming mindful together. So if that's something that you want to join, it's free. Fridays 11 a.m. UK time. You can contact me through the social media links that are given below, and I will send you the Zoom link. And also join my Patreon if that's something that you feel called to, and it'll be like your me time that you commit to giving yourself, inshallah ta'ala. Sending you lots of love, light and peace, everyone. Enjoy, and leave me a comment if you feel like this video in any way helped or shifted you or gave you some insights, because together we can bring more light, ground it into our being for others to read through whatever it is that we leave behind. So take care, and inshallah I'll speak to you soon. Allah Hafiz.